Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Normal Guy of the North here, and today we're diving deep into the 5 behaviors that absolutely confirm a submarine player knows exactly what they're doing in World of Warships. These aren't the obvious things like damage numbers or kills. We're talking about the subtle, disciplined, almost surgical habits that separate the casual sub-drivers from the players who can quietly reshape the entire match without ever being detected. And I want to start with the clearest sign of mastery, because once you see this, you already know you're dealing with someone who understands the class at a high level. It's halfway through the game. A destroyer on your flank has vanished, a cruiser is limping away, a battleship is reversing out of sheer panic, and your team keeps saying in chat, "What is killing us over here?" Then you check the combat log and realize the enemy sub already has a couple of kills, has bled the flank nearly dry, and still has 0 spotted ribbons against him. That is the highest expression of submarine discipline in the game. This is the underwater version of a stealth specialist shimikaze captain who goes the full match completely unseen. It isn't passive play, it isn't camping, it isn't luck. It's absolute control of information, positioning, and timing. Players who can do this aren't hiding, they're actively operating in a way that denies every single enemy the chance to interact with them. They're reading destroyer rotations, anticipating radar arcs, keeping tabs on hydro ships, and avoiding reveal vectors before they even develop. They come up to periscope depth only long enough to gather intel, and they drop instantly before any line of sight can converge. They also use patience as a competitive advantage. If relocating for 2 minutes means never getting spotted, they do it. If waiting 10 seconds longer ensures the enemy battleship is committed to a turn, they wait. Their entire game plan revolves around maintaining anonymity, sustaining pressure, and striking only when the enemy has no tools available to counter. By the time the opposing team realizes what's happening, the flank is already lost. And that discipline ties directly into another behavior that instantly identifies a competent submarine captain: how they manage dive capacity. Weak sub-players treat dive capacity like a panic button. Good players treat it like a renewable but extremely finite currency. The ones who know what they're doing never bottom out their batteries. They stay at periscope depth just long enough to observe. They deep dive only when it directly leads to survival, disengagement, or a guaranteed offensive reset. They preserve battery not because they're scared of taking risks, but because they're planning for the long game, the mid to late battle carry phase where sub-influence escalates dramatically. It's the same philosophy a high-skill destroyer player uses with concealment. You don't waste it. You invest it. That's the mindset of a real submarine operator. Another trait that confirms a submarine player is more than just average is how they use sonar pings. Inexperienced players hit the ping key the moment anything comes into range. It's predictable, it's noisy, it's countered instantly, and it telegraphs their position. Skilled sub-captains never do this. Their pings are deliberate, slow, intentional, and integrated into their firing sequence. They only ping when the geometry is ready, when the torpedoes are nearly in position, or when they know the target is committed to a movement pattern they cannot break out of. They also understand that sometimes the most lethal ping is no ping at all. Players who know the class well will fire stealth torps at distracted battleships or reversing cruisers because they know the target won't be paying attention. They double ping only when the enemy cannot instantly break it. And they adjust their ping timing based on reload cycles, not impulses. Everything they do with pings is controlled, quiet, and calculated. Another signal of true experience is how they manage engagement distances. Great submarine players treat distance like a resource. They don't YOLO into close-range fights unless the destroyer threat is completely neutralized. They don't run away in panic. They actively control the tempo of the engagement. Sometimes that means holding mid-range and farming consistent pressure. Sometimes it means pushing in for a close-range kill when the opportunity is guaranteed. And sometimes it means kiting backward while still maintaining ping windows and keeping enemy ships boxed into bad positions. This level of distance management mirrors what elite destroyer players do, just underwater. It requires a read on map flow, enemy rotation patterns, crossfire angles, and the collapse timing of each flank. When a sub-player controls range, they control the rhythm of the fight, and when they control the rhythm, they dictate outcomes. And finally, the last major sign of a high-skill submarine player: they only fight when the conditions are favorable, never when the fight is simply available. Submarines are not ships that brute force engagements. They're opportunists, ambushers, and pressure creators. So the experienced players wait for perfect windows. They strike when radar is on cooldown, when hydro has already been committed, when a destroyer was just sunk, when the battleship has locked itself into a turn, or when the cruiser is distracted by a gunfight. These players don't take coin flip engagements. They don't force engagements with healthy destroyers. They don't chase targets into dangerous water. Everything they do revolves around removing risk before the torpedoes ever leave the tubes. And when you combine that with perfect concealment discipline, smart dive capacity management, intentional ping usage, and precise control of engagement distance, you get a submarine player who is not only skilled, they're a quiet force shaping the entire match. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it, and please feel free to click on the videos on your screen for more World of Warships content. But as always, take care, stay safe, and I wish you all the best. See you in the next one, and bye for now.